And a very good afternoon to football fans around the world, in Australia and especially here in New South Wales. This is the National Premier League men's competition. New South Wales coming to you live on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. It's a beautiful sunny day for match day 2 of this competition, and we're here at Rockdale Illidan Sports Centre for a matchup between two very even sides, Sydney FC and Sydney United 58. My name is Tom Rizzuto. It's a pleasure to be back here at the beautiful Sports Centre here in Rockdale, and it's a wonderful sunny day, much better than last week when I was here, when it was pouring with rain, windy, miserable, book was tearing apart. But today we have clear skies and clear viewership, so I'm looking forward to calling this one for you and hoping that you will get one of the games of the season this early stage of the year. As I mentioned, both sides got off to reasonably, good starts last week. Sydney FC picking up that loss, but it was an impressive effort against a very strong Northwest Sydney Spirit outfit. And Sydney United have started off their campaign with a draw against Sutherland Sharks FC, or Sharks FC, still not sure which one it's going to be, but what a start for them as well, as they picked up an impressive win over Manly United on the road the other night, which is great to see for them as they take a roaring start to this season. But we're focusing on the two sides here today. It's the Sydney Derby of sorts, Sydney by name, not so much by destination on this occasion, but it's going to be fierce nonetheless. Let's start off with the sides for you today. Sydney United 58 first, acting as the away side today, and not much of a change to the side that picked up that draw last weekend. The ever-present Tristan Prendergast is in goal once again. Bailey Rule will slot alongside Adrian Vlastelica in that back four. Mario Chabau is once again in that midfield position and box-to-box element and force for the away side. Patrick and Telmy will lead the line once again, and just behind him will be Carlos de Oliveira in number 10. Matthew Hatch and Tarek Meyer will play on either side of the wings. Michael Glasnock will sit a little bit deeper just behind them, and then Stephen de Robillard is in the side once again, and Mason Wells comes in to replace the Stephen Robillard, who comes in to replace the suspended Anthony Tomalek, and then Mason Wells keeps his starting position. Liam McGing is on the bench alongside Anthony Krillick, Joshua Attards, Josip Orlovic in the backup goalkeeper position, and Leroy Jennings and Luke Zvella rounding out the side for Sydney United this afternoon. And then a host of changes for the home side, as is often the case with this junior side, this junior Sydney FC side. Always a glorious team to watch, particularly in these sort of conditions. Wonderful display of talent, but can they go all the way with some of the more mature-aged sides in this year's competition? And it will be a question mark for them once again, but there's no doubt that the skill and ability for the future is one to keep an eye out for. Starting at goals today and replacing his counterpart in goals today is Jacob Kremen-Cohen coming back in. Joseph Corluch is in there alongside Corey Cronin, two players who got a run-on last week. Ty Williams as well is another one of those players, alongside Matthias McAllister, who was on the score sheet last week. Tay Headley comes in at number 10 to round out one of the many players who are starting again this week. But in comes Wataru Kamijo this week, as he replaces a number of key players who are sitting on the bench today. Jared Middleton is there again. Alan Habas, who was the captain today, scored last week a wonderful goal. Looking forward to seeing him again. And then Lachlan Middleton rounds out the side alongside Joe Lacey. Then we go to the bench. Noah Matthey is there in number 2. Alexander Savandinos is back on the bench, as I mentioned earlier. Samuel Lancaster is in 15. Jack Ryu is 16. Will Kennedy is 22. And Dylan Rose is 26, as both sides make their way onto the field for the second last game of your NPL men's weekends, as the Sydney FC supporter base get underway here. Great to see the passion on display. This is what we come down to watch, folks. Sunday football and plenty of crowds getting behind her. That's great to see on a Sunday, giving up their time to come down and support their team. That's wonderful, wonderful to see. Referees today for you, we will have up in a second. We have the fourth official up, who is Daniel Kornowski. I don't have just yet for you the remaining officials. Nope, here I do. In the middle today, it's Stephen Lucas. The assistants are Aaron Bloch and Matthew Harris. And then, as I mentioned, the fourth official is Daniel Kornowski. And to all my fellow referee friends out there, I believe there was a miscommunication last week if you're hearing my game at Rockdale Littleton Sports Centre when Rockdale was playing St George City. I do apologise if there was a miscommunication. I was not cheering on the fans who were apparently saying slander towards you. I didn't hear what they were saying. I thought they were cheering on their team. I do apologise for the misunderstanding. I implore all people to support their referees. They are the ones who make this game tick, and I'm making sure that this game runs smoothly and fantastically as always. So we're looking forward to Stephen Lucas and his team reffing this one and making sure it stays nice and clean, because sometimes these games, particularly in this beautiful heat, they can really rile up the players, particularly if the scoreboard isn't going their way. They're not too far away now as the coin toss is taken. '11th and 14th respectively. Sydney United obviously getting that point last week. Sydney FC sitting in 14th on that -1 goal difference. But they were impressive last week and they led. One might say that they were pretty close to snatching all 3 points over at Christie Park last Saturday night, but it didn't go their way in the end, just lost their way ever so slightly. Particularly difficult to play against that robust Spirit side who are known for very direct play. Some big bodies in their team who can really do some damage to you when they go over the top. Will the away side United deploy that today? We'll find out soon. We're about to get underway. Players are in the middle for the kickoff. Matthias McAllister is going to get us underway once the officials are in their final spots. Sydney United are running from right to left across your streaming screens in the red and white, the blue socks, and then Sydney FC are going the other way in the full white. And we are underway here for match day 2 between these two sides, Sydney FC and Sydney United 58. And already the chants are a little X-rated, so we do apologise for that if you are hearing that through our microphones. As that ball is sent well out of play by Joseph Korlusic, the centre-back, ever present. Come United early with a chance. It's not over just yet, as Korlusic's initial block spared his counterpart Jared Middleton some blushes, but the opportunity was not taken. The follow-up shot blasted well over the bar by Antelmi. Looks like again, maybe slightly different this time. Sydney has dropped into a back four. They looked like they played a back three last week, back five I should say. There was a bit of an arm involved there by the Sydney FC frontman, Habas. Move forward here to Headley, is well cleared away eventually as the ball fails to stay on the ground. It finally is hoisted well out of play by Vlastelica. Wearing the armband today as well, one should mention. Oh, nice layoff here, and here's McAllister trying to find a way through, but he was on his own. And then a free kick is given as Habas takes down Shabao. And Now we're going to get some argy-bargy about where the free kick is taken. Made forward towards Shabao, but the FC deal with it. Only for a throw-in, though. There you go, Shabao. Wonderful dribbler and great player to watch when he's got the ball at his feet. Nice layoff, though, by McAllister as the counter bruise for Sydney. Glasslock was well positioned to make sure that the speedy Sydney attack didn't gain any form of legs. Throw will be taken. Both sides full of running. Shabao plays it up to Antelmi, but Middleton is good on the ball. Only momentarily, and then loses out. There's a lot of scrappy passing in the middle, which means the ball goes aerial eventually. So Bass tries to wiggle his way through. That doesn't work for him. And then it's United's turn to hoist the ball clear. And finally, we'll have a throw after all of that. Wonderful footwork from Shabao as he ghosts past many a Sydney defender and then wins the free kick. Fortuitous because his pass was ill-placed, but it certainly warranted a free kick. The challenge on the United midfielder. Oh, that's a good ball forward, and again down that right-hand side, United make plenty of space. It is eventually hacked cleared. Middleton did enough to stop the cross. He did need support from his brother to clear it away on the second attempt. Should be a advantage played, and it's done well. And here comes that chance. Attached down the byline. Tries to find Shabao. Doesn't get it to him as again the Sydney defence is alert in the middle of their 6-yard box. See the danger out, but it's far too easy so far for the away side to just play down the wings. It's a long ball by Astalica. Brought down nicely. A couple of turns there by Diva Billard, but he loses out. Picked up by Rule momentarily though. And here's Shabao. Back to Wells. It was actually Wells before, I do apologise. Playing in that right wing position in looks to be a 4-3-3 for Sydney United. Nice flick on there by Headley. McAllister does enough to win it, and then Habas storms through a couple of challenges and breaks free. Tries to play the pass to his teammate in Joe Lacey, just not on the same wavelength there. Nice turn there. Now here comes Lacey. Still going, does well to get past a couple of players, but his last touch is just too heavy. Here's Shabao. He's fouled by Headley. It's taken quickly here, and now Hatch can bring it forward. The rampaging left back. He's got D. Rabillard, who cuts back on the inside. D. Rabillard tries to find D. Oliveira, but can't find him. Bit of space for Rule to bring it forward. Both sides looking to get forward quickly. There's not a lot of slow build-up so far. It's a nice pass around the corner. Chappell's touch is heavy, and that takes a deflection off the United midfielder, and it will work out for a Sydney FC throw-in much further up the field. Both sides just feeling each other out here in the opening 10 minutes. We'll get the throw eventually to be taken by Tyler Williams. Isn't what we're used to seeing in football. Players just rolling around on the floor. Eventually it did break away for Tarek Meyer. He beautifully nutmegged his opponent. Just ran out of room to get the counter-attack going. Middleton does well to find Lacey. Lovely work there from Williams, and then fires the ball back into Middleton, who's now got it to Headley. Gets it out towards his winger, but can't find it. The telling touch from the chasing Wells was good enough, but ball is given back again to Sydney. This is poor so far from the wayside from a passing perspective. Middleton. Ball shifted out wide. It's Cronin. Decides to go backwards. It's the home side with a chance to just get their boots warmed up. As I mentioned, the game started at a pretty frantic pace, which seen just a few sloppy passes. Pass just there from Camijo, should have hit its man. It didn't, and now here comes Hatch. Loves a run. This is great from him so far, still going, but can't break away quick enough on the final tackle. Very attacking width the away side has. Most of their threat is coming from so far. It was the early days in the season, but once again today for Sydney United a must to keep themselves in line with the favourites of the competition this year. As for Sydney FC, that is, they'll want to gain as many points as they can while some of these sides are potentially still a little dusty. Nice ball. Here's Headley with a yard of space, lays it off. Oh, and then it's passed to nobody by Mac Allister. All he had to do is lay it back into his teammate. And And he decided to play it out wide where he probably thought either Williams or Lacey was. There's no one there, and it was a big chance missed. Sydney FC staff to my right, not happy with the decision. I'm sure they won't be happy with that one either, as a needless foul is given away again by the young Sky Blues. I'm not wearing Sky Blue, doing Sky White today, Cloud White. This is a good opportunity for United 58 to strike first. We've got some real tall bodies in there, the likes of Glassock, Kostelica as well. Maya standing over the free kick. No, it's not, sorry, it's De Oliveira. It's whipped in. Hasn't beaten the head of... Oh, here's a little chance for Sydney FC to break. Fortuitous, somewhat, that the ball had just a bit of extra pace on it, which allowed Hatch to clear the ball somewhat unceremoniously out of danger. The set piece opportunity missed. It was a total miss kick initially, which almost resulted in that breakaway for Sydney. Here comes that pressure. Middleton finds Kalusic to Williams, and United provide excellent pressure. Just hoisted clear. Well read, but given away by Wells. Here's a Bass, who's trying to get his way forward. Didn't work the first time, could work the second time. Still just sort of scrambling around between like 4 or 6 players. Plenty of legs thrown into the challenges. Referee happy to let it go, Stephen Lucas. And eventually the free kick is gone. You knew that was eventually going to happen. As the challenges flying in left, right and centre. Someone was about to lose their head eventually. Here's Lacey now. Ball nicely here, the home side. And here's Lacey. Tries to find a ball through, doesn't on that first attempt, comes to Headley, who has a go. But Captain Fantastic, Mr. Lecker, is in the way. Nice build up by Sydney FC. Here's Headley now. This is Abbas with a poor touch. Strong run down the right-hand side. Checks backs though momentarily. Hatch is calling for the ball, gets it eventually. No one's putting the pressure on. Dero Billard goes to that byline, uses his pace, puts it across. There's Anthony, but he can't bring it down for a shot. Sydney crowd him out. Once again, that width. Moving all sorts of troubles at the moment for Sydney, but they survive a miniature break there as the pass is ill-placed. This time by Meyer, can't find Hatch. Like a goal isn't far away though. The heat certainly start to play a factor. You would think over the next 10 minutes. It's a nice flick on by Abbas, but no one was there. Now they break again. Abbas tries to switch it across to Lacey. Can't find him. Free kick given away this time by Shabao. He's had his fair share of ankle kicks come his way. This time he decides to return the favour. The referee doesn't let it go unpunished. Here's Middleton. Plenty of space to work in. Doesn't go wide. It's Camijo. Unlucky there, Sydney, as something was building nicely, but Stephen Lucas couldn't get out of the way of the ball. Come at him at a rate of knots, so harm, no foul from the referee. He was cutting back. Middleton's pass to Lacey works out. Hatch loses his footing momentarily. Here's Headley. Nice little turn. Tries to find McAllister, but the striker had just gone the wrong way. And that's a nice touch from Wells. Can't play any pass through though. It's cut out again by the Sydney defence. Now it's Lacey's turn to bring it forward. She's just Middleton, who was definitely bundled over by Wells. And it will be a free kick. Just getting under the skin here. The Sydney side of the more adult away team. Looks like they are actually going to try and play this in. It's Camijo who's standing over it. Doesn't go past the first man. I don't think anything angers people more than seeing a free kick or a set piece not go past the first defender. It takes the wind out of the sails. Camijo steals it back. United just cannot keep a hold of the ball. Top here to Middleton, who's onside. As soon as Lacey's onside, tries to find a ball across, but it's a difficult one to provide. They get the ball back as the continuing trend of United giving the ball away continues. Ball from the keeper up to Abbas. Pass behind Headley though. And now United look to break. Deaver Billard one-on-one here with Williams. Goes back onto his right foot. Deaver Billard. Striked it straight into a Sydney defender. I'm sure he was going to back his pace down and around the outside. Not on this occasion. Here's Lacey. He was definitely clipped by Hatch. He remonstrates with the referee. He has much argument. Plenty of space. Here's McAllister with an opening chance. Oh, wonderful save. Tristan Prendergast stands big. It was a wonderful run down the far left by Corey Cronin. The ball in was beautifully weighted. And McAllister, who scored from a cross last week, was almost the beneficiary again in match day 2. But his shot was directly at Prendergast. Take nothing away from the reaction of the keeper. It was a great save. One might think if had it gone either side of him, it may have been a different result. Corner though for Sydney. First one of the day. Goes towards that near post. Set it away. And United clear sufficiently. And the ball comes back in, but Prendergast is there to pick it up. Counter attack. Swiftly cut out. As well there by Camijo. Here's a chance now for United to break with Chabal. Storming forward, trying to find a way through, but there's too many white shirts, and they eventually bring him down. And now it's Sydney's turn to counter through Headley. Tries to find the run of McAllister, but the ball goes behind him. Again, just that pass in the final third is just crippling both teams at the moment. Now they break down this left-hand side with Chabal. Hatch is there. He finds him. Here's Hatch back through the middle. Middleton there to see it away for a corner. Again, a glorious opportunity down the width of the field. Not taken by Sydney United, but they do get the corner. Their first for the afternoon. Oliveira to take. Plenty to aim at. Nicely weighted, but a little bit too flighty. It was a simple grab for Kremen Cohen. With the decision there, the away side. Oh, I couldn't make a call on it. It was the translucent dugout. It was blocking the view. Another foul given away by the away side, I should say. Just a bit of frustration creeping in for the men in red. Only be enjoyed by the home side. The referee is going to pause proceedings for a moment. To give Chabal his shin pad back, looks like. Nice layoff by Salmi. Here's Chappell. Goes out wide. Here's that chance for Wells. Stings the gloves of Cremon Cohen, who needed a second grab at it to hold it. Mijo in a great pocket of space. Goes for the switch. Good ball. Finds Cronin. One-on-one here with Rule. Comes back inside. Good whipping ball. There's McAllister. Will it break kindly for anyone? No, it doesn't. It's Hatch. Who is the one who is on the spot to clear. Then didn't wait to let Prendergast come out and grab it. Oliveira finds Wells, who trips up on the ball. Now Sydney look to break through Headley. He's got no one with him though. Finds Middleton. Also loses his footing momentarily. Instead of throwing all their weight forward, FC just played a little bit more constructive. Ball to Cronin is too heavy on this occasion. As we reach the half-hour mark here at Rockdale Ilden Sports. We haven't had a chance to catch the results from round two. Big win again for Northwest Sydney Spirit, this time over Blacktown on the road. 4-0. We have it in. Divide best side. We'll get back to in a second. McAllister's got the ball, looking for Lacey. Probably chose the wrong pass. Chappell in the end, who was back doing his defensive duties. Scamijo. McAllister wants it. Goes to Lacey instead. Whipping ball. There's McAllister. There's Sabas. Wonderful skill by Diva Billard. Hatch just yanks it clear. It works. Breaks for De Oliveira. And now comes Wells. Wants it and tell me. Doesn't use him. She goes back to De Oliveira. Very much starting to open up. Works out there for Wells. His initial roll of the leg didn't work out. Other results: Marconi victors over the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Big win for the Western Sydney Wanderers. 1-0 over Sydney Olympic. And the games on Friday, as I mentioned, Sutherland Sharks FC beat Manly United on the road 3-0 at Cromer. And Rockdale picked up their first win of the season, this time against St George FC. So they have got one up on a St George-based side. There's one more game left today as well. I'm sure many of you are going to enjoy it. It comes along, starts about 20 minutes. Get to it in a second as Sydney tried to launch another attack. Finds Abbas. Here's Abbas with a go. Doesn't get through the first defender. Kalusic is trying to wiggle his way through. And eventually, Wells is back there. Here comes Hatch. Tell me. To Hatch again, he's just burst through. Here comes Hatch, squares it back to Tell me! Has to be, no! Well, at first I thought it would be Hatch who's going to have a go. He was pretty much right in the middle of the 18-yard box. And he had the near post to aim at as well. And he didn't opt to do it. He eventually squared it. And Tell me who missed. I think in the end it's a wonderful defensive block by the centre half in Jared Middleton to send it wide for a corner. You can see why they've played Hatch out at left back today. His blistering speed there on show. Go with the short corner routine, which hasn't really worked out, probably the way they intended it to. The United side goes long up to Hatch, who brings it down. It's Vlasic, sorry, who brought it down and teed it up for his centre-half colleague, Stelica, but he can't do anything with his shot towards goal. Headley's touch is poor and gives it away to Meyer. Now it's the home side's turn to give away possession cheaply. Here's Shabao. Finds Antelmi with a lovely disguised pass. Once again, this Sydney FC defence scrambles well, but that's a lovely ball into Wells, aiming for that far corner. But gets two underneath it. Doesn't challenge the goalkeeper or the goal. Game kicking off in 20 minutes, of course, is Central Coast Mariners hosting Apia Leichhardt. So should be a good one up there. Plume Park. Of the ball, Wells to rule. Tell me, tries to get through. He's held up initially. Shabao has it though. Gets it out early to De Oliveira. De Robillard. Rule storms down the right hand side. Still going here, Bailey Rule. Good ball in. Falls kindly all the way through to Carlos De Oliveira. But no, again. The finishing is left to be desired. And Sydney FC will be happy to see that as we creep towards the end of the first 45 minutes here at Rockdale Ilden Sports. If you are just joining us, you're late to the show. It's 0-0 between Sydney FC and Sydney United 58. There isn't really much else to mention other than that. It's been lacking of many highlights so far. The biggest moment coming via a wonderful save by Trindon Prendergast to keep Sydney United on level terms, denying McAllister with a second goal of the season. Bow gets away with that as Middleton tries to steal it from him. Here comes Wells, lovely little nutmeg of Camijo. Still going Wells, trying to find a way through, but loses out. Falls kindly though and allows this attack to continue, and Telmy goes down in the box under not much complaints, and then eventually the ball goes out for a corner as he's bundled over. Here comes that corner towards that 6-yard box. Phil back in. Still a chance. And Telmy has a shot block. Comes back out to Chabot. Rule on the wrong side. Has to go back onto that right foot. Doesn't try to hit it first time on his weaker side. And then the ball from Meyer is too heavy and it goes out for a goal kick. Sydney FC once again defending very stoutly. Service again from the keeper. Middleton runs himself into a corner but finds his namesake. Then McAllister can't continue the attack. And is guilty of handling the ball rather cheekily. Perhaps the referee was lenient on that occasion. I could say that it was somewhat fortuitous that he didn't receive a card, because perhaps the referee didn't see it, because it definitely looked like he used his hand. That's a nice ball. That's a Wells. It's got a wonderful backspin on it there. That's searching ball. Allowed him to keep it in. And then, well, Meyer, his eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas Day and tried something that I don't think many would have ever thought would come off. It would have been wonderful if it had, and it would have opened this game right up. Needless to say, it was high wide and not very handsome. Gives it away. It's good pressure from United. Here's to Billard. Comes back onto that right now, little chip. And tell me, surely, again, somehow, Sydney FC managed to just get in the way and do enough and force a corner. This time the press is wonderful from United, and it almost pays dividends, but once again, poor Patrick Anselmi just can't find the yard required to get a clean shot away. Denied by two very telling interceptions. Comes in the corner. It's again weighted nicely. It's missed absolutely everybody. And a drill back towards the box, and then a few legs just sprawled out to stop that from going any further. And again, the scramble is effective for Sydney. United just trying to tighten the screws as we tick towards the seconds remaining of the 45 minutes of this first half. I imagine there won't be many added minutes on. It's been a pretty swift game so far. Not any stoppages to note. Maybe a nice chance here. Bass has the same contagious effect that was displayed by Tarek Meyer only moments ago. Goes for the weldy halfway goal with Prendergast slightly off his line, but doesn't really get anywhere near what was required. Probably just shows how much of a stalemate this game is between these two sides, with players resorting to those sorts of attempts. One minute is all that will be added on. Heavily brought down by Rule. United just doing their best to slow it up. There'll be one last chance. Here's Middleton. No, loses out to Gioliveira. But he can't keep the ball. Hatch steals it, but only as far as Williams. Master coming deeper for the ball. And that'll be all for the first half here at Vokto Illidan Sports Centre. 0-0 between Sydney FC and Sydney United. In what has been a very tight affair. Both sides really struggling to get into any form of groove and fashion any kind of opportunity. The ability in the final third has been lacking. There has been some chances. They creeped in towards the end of that first half, particularly for Sydney United. Both sides probably could have had a goal each. Patrick Anselmi had one denied by a wonderful block by Jared Middleton, and then a few moments before that, Matthias McAllister had one saved very heroically by Trindon Prendergast. But it means that both sides go to the sheds with a share of the spoils thus far. No goals. Sydney United having their fair share of shots, but not many of those have been even remotely close to the Sydney FC goal. So both sides will be hoping for an improved performance when they come back out in the second half. But don't go anywhere, as always, folks, because there is still plenty to play for here in the next 45. It's almost a brand new game when we come back, and I expect it to be as electric and high tempo as this first half has been. We'll be back shortly. to have you back here on Football New South Wales YouTube channel for match day 2 between Sydney FC and Sydney United 58. Great to be here with you on a beautiful Sydney afternoon. We are just coming back for the second half. Players are walking back onto the field alongside the officials. And if you're joining us just now, score is 0-0 after a tight affair in the first 45 minutes. We're expecting and hoping for a much more open second 45 as both sides chase the 3 points. It's been somewhat lackluster so far between these two. It's been certainly fierce, but just lacking that quality required to open up proceedings here. But the good thing about being at 0-0 now means that there's plenty of opportunities for both sides to be attacking to get that goal, that all-important goal. We are about to kick off. It will be Sydney United in the red, white and blue, playing from left to right in this second half. And Sydney in the sky white, or cloud white I should call it, running from right to left. No changes at half-time for either coach. To use as much as their energy out of the current starting crop before moving to the bench. Turn there from Middleton. Finds Abbas. Plays it off nicely to Heatley. As well to beat a couple of players. Here's a chance now for Sydney. Ball doesn't find a target initially, and then see, no, it's McAllister trips on the ball. There was an opening chance there for Sydney. Didn't have a player in the box. He was hoping for McAllister to be loitering around that penalty spot, but wasn't to be the case. Goes out for a throw. Sydney starting the half with plenty of vigour. Can smell an opportunity here. Ball up to Abbas. It's cleared away by United. Now United look to break with Chabot, goes wide to Wells early. Mason Wells trying to find a way through, can't get the shot towards goal. And just to pinch it back though. Mijo caught being overly tricky, trying to play out of his own half. Comes wide to Rule. Oh, takes his eyes off the ball and miscontrols it, and it goes out for a throw. Here's Meyer. Rob Billard brings it down nicely to Hatch. Ooh, it's not a bad effort. Did brilliantly initially to bring it down. Got his foot right across it, but didn't have the whip to find that bottom corner. Tell you what, if it had, I think keeper Kremen Cohen would have had some troubles keeping that out. Breeze just picking up ever so slightly here. Might prove a little bit difficult for the Sydney FC side. It looks like they'll be running against it. Headley brings it down well. Finds Abbas and now plays it through to Conan, who's got a yard of pace and space. Here's Cronin, he's got players in the middle, leaves it, this is a chance, Middleton, Sydney FC lead, and it had been coming for the young Sky Blue. It's a wonderful build-up down on the left-hand side, and finally A game that's been crying out for a final third pass. We finally get it, courtesy of Corey Cronin. A wonderful run from the fullback. Squared it across. Matthias McAllister, who is in the middle, leaves the ball for his central midfielder, who is loitering behind him. And he had the composure to finish past Prendergast. And Sydney take an early lead in this second half. And are all the money for it. It's been a wonderful display so far in terms of their structure defensively. And they've capitalised on an ill-tempered and lacklustre Sydney United 58, who so far on this beautiful Sunday haven't come out to play. But, as you know, they say, nothing spurs you on more than conceding a goal. Is that the kick up the you-know-where that these men in red needed as they look to pounce on the counter here through Wells, but he can't bring it down. And now Cronin in an advanced position can break. Headley, he played a beautiful ball through to Cronin initially, dropping a little deeper. Ball's come over the top again here for Cronin. His touch just a little heavy, and Wells is there to deal with it. Just getting stuck there, Rule. Free kick given. Oliveira fouled by Lacey there. At the moment, there's two centre halves, Middleton and Lucic are doing a wonderful job keeping the likes of Antelmi and Chabau and De Oliveira at bay. Amijo, lovely pass through into McAllister. This is a growing in confidence Sydney FC. Here's Headley, looks for a ball through. Here's Middleton, cuts it back, chips it across. There's McAllister! Oh! And it could have gone anywhere. The flag, I think, was up for offside anyway. So it wouldn't have counted had it found its way past the keeper. Wells counters well, finds Dira Billard. He's one-on-one here with Williams. He's held up well by the fullback and he's forced to go backwards. Here's Hatch now. Storms into the box. Hatch gets it across, but there's no one there. Sydney FC get plenty of players inside their own 18-yard box to stop any kind of cross. Abbas then gives away a free kick. And then decides to rile up the opposition's captain. They've done very well today. The home side is really get under the skin of Sydney United, who so far probably feel a little bit hard done by. They've definitely shown an attitude of which has been quite combative and argumentative so far. That's a nice ball to find. Wells, though, brings it down beautifully. Lovely turn. That's wonderful. Mason Wells, this will be one of the goals of the season. And an immediate reply. The motivation that was required came, as mentioned before. And they stormed back onto level terms with a wonderful solo goal from Mason Wells. A beautiful cut and turn on a couple of occasions, and then finishes it in the far corner at the tightest of angles. And all the hard work done by Sydney FC thrown completely out the window, and it's back to square one for both sides. And after 45 minutes of no goal-mouth action, we finally have 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes. And it is well and truly game on here at Rockdale Illidan. It's always something that haunts these youth sides. It's just that ability to stay consistent, shut out games when needed. At least hold a lead a little longer than a couple of minutes. That time Corey Cronin was just guilty of lunging in on Wells. Lacey's done very well to roll a couple of challenges, but eventually the ball goes out of play. It's a wonderful run by the right winger, who has looked very strong today on the ball. And he finally was given the time and space to make something happen, and boy did he. Sydney FC look to break. That's nicely done. Headley comes out here to Cronin. Here comes Headley again. Looks for a shot the first time. Wants to cut it back towards Cronin, whose cross goes into the back of Rule for a corner. Sydney FC certainly not losing any confidence despite going backwards after scoring that goal at the start of the half. Comes that corner, it's nicely weighted. There's Middleton. Couldn't get a shot. Here's a chance. Oh, it's shot off the line brilliantly by Hatch. That was certainly going in. A stab shot of sorts. Almost finds its way in. Not too sure which Sydney FC player it was. There was a crowd of players. It was hard to tell. But what I can tell you, folks, is that was certainly going in. If it had not been for Hatch, Johnny on the spot. Here's Cronin again out on this left-hand side. Cuts it back onto that right foot. Middleton into Middleton. Nice ball into Cronin, but can't squeeze it through. Middleton fades the challenge. It was important, otherwise they were going to be under pressure. Nice ball into McAllister, looking for Habas, who's trying to find just an acre of space. Ball comes in, blocked momentarily, drilled straight back in by, looked to be Middleton going for his second. But it was saved rather comfortably by Prendergast. Rule making a dashing run forward, but can't kick that cross in as it's too heavy. You see, trapped in a corner and they can't get out, and they concede a throw in the end. Tell me, muscled out of possession. However, United get the ball back. Israel. Wells cuts back. We try and go around the outside again. He finds De Oliveira instead. Breaks kindly to Antelmi. His pass is a bit heavy for Diva Billard. Hatch is there to pick it up, but it's well won by Williams, and then sent out for a throw as the tackle from Hatch sees the ball go out of play. Both sides certainly warmed up now, if they weren't already. Here comes back Alistair. Tries to play through Headley, who's offside. Lacey tries to keep it in, but marshalled well by Hatch. Oh, lovely run from Kolusic. Now McAllister can storm forward, finds Habas, tries to get it back inside to his strike partner. Blocked on 2 occasions. Free kick is given against Sydney United here. So a chance for Sydney to spell some danger from the set piece. As they to ready some substitutions here, the young Sky Blue. Looks to be Noah Matthey and Will Kennedy looking at the playbook before they come on. It's free kick first. However, it's nicely weighted. There's Alistair. Will it be bundled in at the back post? No, it can't be turned in. They do get a corner out of it though. Just not a player in white gambling at the back post. Once again, that ball could have gone anywhere, and it did once the deflection came from the Sydney United defender following the free kick. Get a corner again. So far the deliveries have been causing all sorts of problems for the United defence. Towards the back post, there's an unmarked header, and it's found its way in! Oh! And it's the centre-back and captain, Joseph Kolusic, with a towering header from the corner, and it's something that you don't often see. One of the junior sides scoring from a set piece. The bounce of the ball just before it reached Prendergast, throwing him off completely. There was a couple of legs, I think, in there as well that may have just deviated the ball away from his grasp. And it's crept in at the back post. And after having one cleared off the line, they weren't so lucky on this occasion, the away side, and Sydney are back in front. And that is Sydney FC. As the substitutions are made, on comes Will Kennedy in place of Alan Habas. Well, no, it's not Alan Habas, sorry, that is, I think, the man who has just scored in Joseph Kolusic. And then, as I mentioned, Noah Matthey is on in place of Joe Lacey. Means that Tyler Williams is slotted in at centre-back. Will Kennedy has gone out to right-back. Here's Rule. What will the response be here from United? Nice little heel chop. Finds Chabau. So good on the ball. So fun to watch. He's getting plenty of calls from the away side. Here's Wells. Tries to play a ball forward, but doesn't find an intended target. And the crowd behind the goal very much in love with that result. Short kick off from the goal kick. is a poor one, because then it's given away poorly by Camijo, and then Wells is fouled, and there's a free kick in a very, very promising position. One begs to ask the question why teams who hold a slender lead choose to play so recklessly. Because if they concede here, Sydney FC, it would be a terrible way to have their lead again dissipated. Here comes that free kick. Can they, Sydney United, strike from the set piece? Oh, it's a wonderful attempt from De Oliveira. Fans on the other side of the grandstand thought it had gone in. I tell you what, it wasn't far away. It's a great effort as changes are prepared now for the away side. On comes Anthony Krillich and Luke Juvella. It looks to be potentially Patrick Antelmi who's coming off, as well as Bailey Rule. It is Patrick Antelmi who's come off. It's been a happy day at the office for the striker. It's been a wonderful performance from number 10, Tay Headley, today. He has been a class in that position of the number 10. Nice turn from Middleton, who's done very well as well today. Scored a great goal. Oh, Camijo, that's wonderfully won, and then given away by Sydney as they had a chance to break. They win it back though. Great effort in terms of that pressure. And now Matthew can break forward. He's got McAllister with him. Pass is relatively heavy, which made the control for McAllister a lot tougher. Give it away again, Sydney United. And now Headley will just turn and hold the ball and play possession-based football, which is what they're trained to do, these young stars. Middleton goes wide out to that new player on as well, in Will Kennedy, who's made a storming run down the flanks. City United play out really, really well initially. Now comes wide to Mason Wells, who's got acres of space to work in. He goes himself, but it's deflected and out for a corner. No particularly special play on for this occasion. Looks like it's going to be straight into the mix-up. De Oliveira, can he produce the goods? All towards Kremen Conan, and the ball goes in, but surely there's going to be a free kick given. You would think so. There was a definite nudge in the back of Kremen Cohen. How much, I'm not sure. Matthew brings down the ball really well from the sky. Who's watching that replay now? Oh, without a doubt, that's a clear free kick. Stelica completely taking out the goalkeeper. It wasn't even the goalkeeper dropping down. We know they can be a protected species. Long range attempts from De Oliveira. I like to see that, Sydney FC. That's a great header on there from Matthew. Oh, and the pass was there for McAllister, and he couldn't quite get his feet sorted. Oh, there's a short pass. Not enough legs on it in the end. Middleton just clears long. Here's Quillick. Abbas doing his defensive duties. Just under 20 minutes to play now. Lovely ball, and now they can turn and go. McAllister goes out to Headley, but didn't look up. It breaks kindly, though, for Middleton, who can now bring it forward. Cronin's next in line, looks for Abbas. It's a bit heavy. They get in each other's way initially, but it falls kindly to the Sydney FC striker. Gets a shot across. Oh, good save by Prendergast. Needed to be. Good hands. Sydney FC just looking to maybe strike a killer blow. Cronin. Back to Headley. He's got room to move. Plays a ball across, and it was well weighted. Glasshock in the right position, because it probably would have found its way through to the back post. NSW passing with real confidence right now. Oh, curse of the commentator. Strikes again as the substitution for the away side is being made with Leroy Jennings coming on. Sure, who's he's replacing? He's replacing D. Billard. Mason Wells tries to find a way through. Doesn't, but then does. It's a good run from him. Mason Wells still going. Can't find a pass through, though. I thought they might bring that back for a free kick. They didn't. Middleton now. Well, Matthews made the run. Will Kennedy didn't choose to pass. Tried to take on the United defender. You think that'll be a free kick. It's Matthews brought down by Hatch. And now another substitution is made. Coming thick and fast now as we get towards the pointy end of the match. But 26 is coming on. Dylan Rose. Looks like he's replacing Camijo, who's run his socks off today. He looked like potentially he was playing through a niggle for the last 10 or 15 as well. Looks like the new man on, Dylan Rose, will just be a like-for-like replacement there. Here's Middleton. Goes long first time to Abbas. Glasshock does enough. Nice work from Meyer. Alistair does well to bring that down. And then nothing fancy about it from Kremen Cohen. Now they can just waste some time. Oh no. No gamemanship from the keeper, who picks it up first time. United looking to play high up the field. Will Kennedy manages to escape the pressure and then win a free kick. That's wonderful play from the fullback. Cohen goes long. Eventually come to Prendergast, who just has to send it out of play. I think Wells is going to keep it in. No, he can't. Goes up to Habas, but he can't hold it up. On to Hatch. Now Chabot. There's the run here of Krillick. It's like a switching ball out to his opposite winger, but he's called offside there, Leroy Jennings. Clearance forward. Give Sydney FC a platform. Matthew loses out though. And United try to break free. Referee's letting it play. And eventually the free kick is given. Well, it was going to go one person's way. It could have gone anybody's way on that occasion. Time now the enemy for Sydney United. Free kick is given. The foul on Juvella. Williams unnecessary and a chance to load the box here for United. Don't choose to do it, they choose to build it up. It's Krillick now. Carlos D'Oliveira back to Krillick. Looking back to him. Comes to Chabot! Oh, it's very close indeed. It would have been a sensational goal. Knew exactly what he was doing, and if that found its way into that top corner, there was no stopping it. So they managed again to survive. Sydney FC, they've managed to hold on to the lead for a little bit longer than they had the first time around. Cohen decides to go long. Doesn't work out on that occasion. His delivery from his box has been superb today. Here's Abbas. Nice to let it roll past Bastelika, and actually wins the ball and keeps it. Now here's McAllister, whose touch is just a bit heavy. Ball in, lovely touch. Headley trying to find McAllister. Cleared away momentarily by Krillick. And then a free kick given. As Middleton just bundles over D'Oliveira. Sydney FC playing great football through the middle of the park. And now here comes McAllister. McAllister, good run from him. McAllister! Oh! Sydney FC are striding towards all 3 points here at Rockdale Illidan Sports Centre this afternoon. A wonderful goal, a wonderful team goal in fact, and finished off beautifully by their number 9, Matthias McAllister, scoring his second goal of the season and a third today for Sydney FC. And what has been a great display. And with 10 minutes to go, the away side have plenty of work to do to save this one. Absolutely no chance for Tristan Prendergast in goal. You could only watch it as it nestled into the bottom corner. But they sat off the United defence and allowed him to storm forward. And boy, did he finish with aplomb. Sydney FC 3, Sydney United 1. Now here come United. Through Krillick. Back to De Oliveira, who's definitely bundled over. No, the ball said that was won by the referee. And then Cronin with a nonchalant clearance. Nothing pretty about it. Prendergast has set this one flying forward, and it will be called offside against Mason Wells, who was probably not going to get there anyway. The substitution is being readied for City United. Joshua Attards is coming on for Mario Chabot. Looked very lively throughout today, but he couldn't find an answer to help his side stop what has been a really energetic performance from Sydney FC. Nice lay down by the Bass, couldn't keep it though. Here's Wells now. Plenty of players around him. I'm not going to go through on this occasion. Can't find a pass through either. Here's Hatch. Grillage into Glasshock. The centre half with a good run, but again the ball has been deemed won, and now Habas can break on the counter. Tries to find Noah Matti. The covering tackle by Tarek Meyer is delectable as he keeps possession and then wins the free kick. Pass just under hit by Habas there. Jennings can't keep that one in, and that's more valuable time eaten off the clock for Sydney FC, and the cushion as well of the 2-goal lead. Nice long throw up to Matty. Matty drops it back. Way through as Sydney just play it into the back corner. Shot didn't have the purchase to get past Prendergast. He's not happy with Harbus and his positioning. And Krillick with a misplaced pass allows Sydney FC to just let that clock run down. It's hard to see where the goals are going to come from for the away side here. Played forward. Held up well again by McAllister. Makes Carney to Harbus. Played wide to the ever-running Cronin. One-on-one here with Krillick. Tries to go around him. Want to do it the long way. And we'll just hold it in the corner. Can't get it to drop out for a goal kick or a corner. But wins a throw because another sloppy pass from United is seen in front of our eyes. And the heads just drop again below the shoulders of the players in red. We've had a pretty tough day out today, one might say. There is still time. Oh, Middleton with beautiful footwork. Matty just pushes it back to Kennedy, who is now just running backwards. And Kremen Cohen just hoists it out of play. Oh no, it didn't quite make it all the way. And then Williams does wonderfully. Oh, goes to the commentator, strikes again. His pass is poor, and then a free kick is conceded by his teammate. And this is that chance for United to get one back. If they get one here, that'll surely make things interesting. Probably has to happen now, though. Here comes that corner, free kick now. It's too heavy though, and that'll go all the way out. About sums up Sydney United's day. That does a really anticlimactic finish to what was a good opportunity. Strong header there. Back into the mixture from Attards. Matty puts on the afterburners. Can't get it much further forward, though. It's Prendergast. That's a lovely weighted ball. That's a Wells. Here comes Mason Wells. Scored that wonderful goal to get his side level early in the second half. And we'll win a corner. It won't be long added on, you would think. Maybe a couple of minutes only. We're about to find out. The fourth official is picking up his board. First off the corner, though. Towards that penalty area. And it's headed high and wide by Glasshock, who's asking for some sort of shirt pull. As the sub is ready for Sydney FC, Samuel Lancaster is coming on. Entirely sure which player is coming off. It looks like it's Tay Headley. What a game he's had today. Ball just hoisted away from Eamon Cohen, out of play. Perhaps now we'll get the out of time, or maybe I've missed it. Oh no. 3 minutes of out of time here. We think that it is unlikely that Sydney United will have the time to score two. Weirder things have happened. And we'll get the ball now. Wells. Can he be the man to make something happen? Krillick cuts back nicely. Tries to find a ball across, but it's well defended again there by Middleton. And now Harbus tries to bring it forward. Lays it off nicely to McAllister, whose touch is a little poor. And it's allowed Kastelica to just clear it away, but it's going to afford keeper Kremen Cohen to just waste some more seconds. And I think I know where this one's going. Down nicely there by Attards. Free kick given. Searching ball out to Wells. It's found really well by his captain. Wells trying to get it onto that left. But he cannot whip it enough. The ball was a bit far away from him. He's tried his hardest today and has scored, as I mentioned, a cracking goal. Outside of that, he's been well marshalled by the Sydney fullbacks, particularly Cronin, who's another player who's had a great game, got an assist to his name as well. I feel aggrieved that he wasn't able to stop Wells from scoring the equaliser. Outside of that, he's been tireless in his approach to his game today. Nice header won by the substitute, Lancaster. As we creep into 2 minutes of out of time. 3 points, all but going the way now of the home side. And what has been a great display of discipline and determination. With a nice turn. Glasshock. Out to the captain, Kastelica, for the last time. He has a shot at goal, but the whistle is blown, even though it's gone in the net. And it is full time here at Rockdale Illidan Sports Centre between Sydney FC and Sydney United. And after a tiring first half, which didn't see any goal action, we saw 4 in the second. 4 glorious goals, in fact. But in the end, the numbers went the way of the Sky Blue, the young Sydney FC side, who pick up their first win of the season. 3 points that are valuable for them in their fight for safety in the National Premier League men's first grade competition. Goals today coming in the second half, as I said. Lachlan Middleton in the 47th minute, straight after half-time. Mason Wells with a beautiful solo goal to equalise. But then it was Joseph Korlusik, an unlikely hero from the corner, to put the Sky Blue back in front. And then Matthias McAllister scored in the 80th minute to score the winner in the 80th minute. And I have a score correction that it was Joe Lacey, apologies, who scored that first one, not Lachlan Middleton, in the 47th minute to get the goal scoring underway. Do apologise, the numbers are very similar, 27 and 29, and when you're up here in the scaffolding, it is hard to tell its speed. But Joe Lacey was the goal scorer there to get the proceedings started, to give Sydney FC the platform to go on and claim a brilliant 3 points. That's all we have, folks, for this weekend. Enjoy the last game between Central Coast Mariners and Apia if you're watching that one. Full time here, Sydney FC 3, Sydney United 1. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you next week for Matchday 3.